At what point during the process did you let Dan know you were talking to FAN?
So it's a great question. What made this easier, and I've learned from conversations with people in the past, the worst thing you can do, especially when you have a partner of 20 years, is let him hear about stuff from someone else other than you.
Yeah.
I've grown up a lot working with Dan because I've made that mistake before. So I told Dan, I kept him abreast of everything as it was happening. I did not want him hearing anything from anyone else. And I told him, if you hear anything from anyone else, it's a lie because I am telling you what's happening as it's actually happening. But that's the way you do it. It's the way Dan would treat me, and it's the way I'm treating Dan because, listen, we've had great success together. It's one of the biggest shows in the history of sports radio. We're super proud of it. And yeah, Dan and I have had that conversation before where it's like both of us to each other.
Yeah.
Hey, don't let me hear about something from someone else. Let me hear about it from you. That's the way to do it.
Does he understand what FAN means to you? Like, does he understand how important it is?
Oh, Dan was super supportive. He was great. He knows how much that station means to me. He knows how much that position means to me. He knows how great I would be at that position because at one point I was Dan's boss.
Right.
I hired Dan to do radio. In fact, I told Dan, I'm not starting this radio station unless you're doing afternoon drives. Otherwise, I didn't see the point. He was super supportive. He knows that station means a lot to me. He did say to me at one point, if you went back to New York, didn't you always imagine you would go back as a host? To which I said yes. But being the program director is pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
And because it was that station, if I called him and said WEI or it wouldn't make sense to him. But WFAN in New York, given how much we've talked about it on our show, and I feel like I've introduced Dan to Mike and the Mad Dog, the WFAN, just to the way that station is, he totally understood. He was good with it. In fact, I'll tell you, Dan put in a good word for me. Like it was almost like he gave me his blessing. And so whatever he and Olivero spoke about, Dan was really good about it.
Yeah, no, that's cool to have that relationship for sure.
Yes.